You remember back in 2013 when we alerted you to a book that had won the prestigious New Zealand Post Children's Book Award? A book, according to the New Zealand Herald, laced with detailed descriptions of sex acts, the coarsest language and scenes of drug taking, and which polarised the literary community. Yep, the book used expletives, including the C word, depicted drug use and sex scenes, including one where a baby mimics the sound of intercourse. The Herald on Sunday even decided not to print extracts as they would offend some readers. Yep, you know the one. The award organisers actually sent explicit content stickers to all booksellers to warn potential buyers. We've slightly altered the sticker there, Children's Porn Awards, because that's what it felt like. One nationwide book chain advised store managers the book is suitable only for children over 15 years, even though it won the Children's Award. And the sponsors, New Zealand Post, were inundated with complaints and calls to withdraw the prestigious award and their sponsorship of the award. In fact, the New Zealand Herald, not exactly the bastion of conservatism, said, quote, "It contains obscenities and shock references that worthwhile literature does not need. We can only wonder what the judges were thinking, or how much worse the other entries could have been. Teachers and school librarians do teenagers a disservice when they point them towards books that need to shock to capture their interest." In fact, when I went on Radio New Zealand to talk about it, I wanted to read extracts, but knew they wouldn't allow me because of how offensive it was. I probably should have just done it anyway, as they tried to defend the book. And actually, you've probably not heard of the book since. It has died, and quite rightly so. But then more recently, we told you about an email that we received from a concerned parent who had removed their 9-year-old child from health and sex education classes last year because of what we'd highlighted. But she was concerned about the school permeating the subject wherever they can. And she says, despite my best efforts to insulate my daughter, she was shown this book by another child in the library area. And it's How Do You Make a Baby? Now, if it means that if she can see it, that means 5-year-olds can also see it in a primary school library. How Do You Make a Baby by Anna Fiske. The description on Amazon is it's a factual and funny book for children aged 4 and up that answers the questions all children are curious about. How Do You Make a Baby gives parents, teachers and children a starting point for open and inclusive discussion on topics including different ways to be a family, same-sex parents, IVF treatment, etc. Yep, apparently 5-year-olds are obsessed with learning more about IVF treatment and same-sex parenting. But yeah, it's for children above the age of 4. But let's have a look at the book. And let me warn you, this material is explicit and you may find it offensive. This page, when Papa's penis is in Mama's vagina, they're as close as two people can be. Hello, come in. Cuddling together, named man and woman, woman and woman, or man and man is called having sex. It's something adult couples do because they like it. And then there's some more lovely images, including the two in the middle that leave nothing to the imagination, especially the right-hand one. Remember, this is a book targeted at 5 years and up and could be in your local school library for your child to read. Interestingly, the response to her complaint to the school leaders was that the book is a school teaching and learning resource. When we alerted Paper Plus to the book, they took it off their website. So then I came across this story just last week. Knox Zajac, I think is how you say, Knox Zajac. He's an 11-year-old from Wyndham in Maine, in the state of Maine, in the US, spoke up at a school board meeting recently to read aloud from an illustrated romance book that was in his school library called Nick and Charlie. And the story begins with two early teen boys stealing wine from their parents and proceeding to experiment sexually with one another. Now in this video, you'll hear the 11-year-old speak and then you'll hear the dad speak.
Hi, my name's Knox Zajac. I'm 11 years old and I go to Wyndham Middle School. I'm a 6th grader. I was in the library and this book was on a stand. I'd like to read you a page. My back over my hips as I ask if we should take our clothes off. And he's saying yes before I finish my sentence. He's pulling off my t-shirt, laughing when I can't undo his shirt buttons. He's undoing my belt. I'm reaching into his bedside drawer for a condom. We're kissing. Again, we're rolling over. Obviously, you can see where this is going. I don't know if it's because we're feeling especially emotional or just tired, or these past couple of weeks have been too much. But this reminds me so much of the first time we had sex. We were both fucking terrified, and the whole thing was kind of terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was good too, so good, because we were a mess of emotions, and we were scared and excited, and everything felt new. So this sort of feels like that. Nick touches me like he's scared that any minute. Now, this book was at my middle school, and it was on a stand. When I rented it out to show my dad it, the librarian asked if I wanted more and if I wanted a graphic novel version.
They look a little shocked, don't they? And now Dad.
Oh, boy. So I'm that kid's father.
Okay, good. I was asking for you.
Yeah, I'll take another 3 minutes. So that's my son,
Okay.
11 years old, and went to his library and found that by the entry door of our library, this is the smut that he is finding, all right? I don't care whether it's gay, straight, bisexual, whatever the terms are for all this stuff, doesn't need to be at our school. Doesn't need to be at my 11-year-old's library. And then as far as genderqueer, I've got a son.
Okay, now I'll just stop it there because the dad refers to this other book in the high school library called Genderqueer. And if you haven't heard of it, you want to stay clear of it. That includes graphic descriptions, depictions of minors engaging in sexual intercourse, including oral sex. It's a book that could be mistaken for a how-to manual. It also talks about girls wanting to be boys, wearing chest binders and getting top surgery. The age advisory on the book is for readers of 18 years of age and older, but it's in school libraries. Look, my question to you is it in your local school's library, any of these books? And just back to the book that 11-year-old Knox is talking about, let me just show you a couple of extracts from the book. So these are some of the images in the book. And remember, this is in a primary school. Yeah, so it sort of brings you back to Into the River days, doesn't it? Now, 11-year-old Knox Zajac was also on CBS, which is a major news outlet in Maine, in the state, and he said why he read from the controversial book Nick and Charlie.
Inspired to share with the school board a passage from that book.
Yes, I did that because I walked in and I saw the book and I just felt so uncomfortable. Because before we actually went in, we were like skimming just to see if it was that bad. And when I saw that page, I genuinely just felt so uncomfortable. I had to spread the word about what was in this book and what's in our middle school. So I wanted to make sure I could get it out as soon as possible and make it so it's out of schools.
Yeah, pretty smart for an 11-year-old. And then there was this book that was found on Australian shelves. It certainly looks like a children's book.
It's on the shelf at Big W. Queer, Chameleon and Friends. Let's see what this book is all about. Contents, What the Flag, Coming Out, Please Stop, Funny but True. Let's move on. As you flick through the book, you can see there's different genders and sexualities. Gay, gender fluid, gender queer, demisexual, demi-romantic, demi-gender, intersex, gender queer, queer, polysexual, lesbian, non-binary, omnisexual, polymorous, abrosexual, that sounds like a magic spell, aspec, agender, genderless, arospec, aromantic should I say, aroace, bisexual, gay, gender fluid, gender queer, intersex, transgender, two-spirit, haven't heard of that one before. We're not coming out, psst, we're inviting you in. You don't have to understand us to accept us. You can't tell me this book is not produced and marketed towards young children. Like, look at the illustrations, simple text. It's aimed at young children, like primary school children, kindergarten, year 1, year 2 children.
We encourage parents to exclude their children from any sexuality and gender education classes in school unless they've seen the material and can absolutely guarantee that radical groups like Rainbow Youth, Inside Out, In Your Skin, or the YMCA, who we hear are still pushing the Mates and Dates program, even though it's been unofficially withdrawn, make sure that those groups aren't coming in, and that the school is adopting a policy of do no harm and keeping the parents informed. So before you say that your child can spend the lesson in the library instead, check and see what books are in the school library. Hoping for the best is no longer worth the risk.